Movies recapped here again. Millions of years ago, Lucifer tried to lead a rebellion against God and was banished from heaven for it. He went straight to hell, where Archangel Michael chained him to a great rock and left his sword as a seal. Before Michael leaves, Lucifer vows that one day he will return as God's equal. Over the years, Lucifer has gathered demons to aid him in his revenge plans, and his worshippers have built mansions around the pit he fell into to await his return. In 2022, art historian Laura is studying abroad in Italy. She wants to write a paper on how the great Italian artists didn't really believe in the angels and demons they depicted in their art, but the professor insists that it would hurt Italian history. I am against that idea. To make matters worse, he offers to discuss his paper privately in his apartment, forcing Laura to flee the eerie situation. Sometime later, Laura meets Father Marconi, who gives her a special pass that allows entry to all of the cathedral's exhibits, including the new display of the Shroud of Turin. This shroud contains the blood of the crucified Jesus. The priest gives Laura a detailed tour of the place, and after seeing her shroud, Marconi shows her a recently arrived beautiful statue of Michael defeating Lucifer. The two discuss the concept of evil for a while, and then Marconi leaves Laura so that she can work on a sketch of the statue for her thesis. While painting her, Laura thought she heard someone say her name, but there was no one around her, so it was her own imagination. The exhibit closes in a few hours. Crow flies around the perimeter of the building, lands at the entrance, transforms into Liz, and joins the final group of visitors. However, she disobeys the guide and enters a locked door, where she is spotted by a security guard on her surveillance camera. Liz enters a hallway with statues and watches Laura from a distance as she paints. However, she suddenly noticed that Lucifer's head was moving over the statue, and she stopped. Concerned again, Laura checks her surroundings, but she is startled by a crow by the window. Liz steals Michael's sword from the statue and walks away while Laura is distracted by the bird. At that moment, the guards realize that Laura is a hooded figure who has strayed from the group, but Laura proves she has access to the area. After the guard reminded Laura that the store was closing, she walked away, believing there had been a misunderstanding. Laura packs up and notices Michael's hand, but can't tell the difference. Next she approached the front door but it was already locked, so she started looking for another exit. Back in her hallway, she is shocked to see Liz kill a guard with a sword and decapitate him. A startled Laura escapes and hides in her confessional, where Liz uses the guard's eyes to silence the alarm and steal the relic by breaking the glass protecting the shroud with the sword. I saw Marconi hears the noise and comes to stop him, but Liz stabs him. Later, Liz's men arrive to help protect the shroud. After the group leaves the room, Marconi prays with his last breath, asking Michael to use his body to stop Lucifer. Michael soon descends from heaven to take over the priest's body and pursues Liz's group as they drive away. His angelic powers allow him to run very fast, but Michael must stop to avoid the destruction of his body, as the human flesh cannot withstand the force. Meanwhile, a group of wealthy people watched the prodigy play the violin with great skill. After the performance, Dr. Laron explains that this child is a clone of Antonio Vivaldi, another famous name in a long list of clones his company has created by extracting DNA from graves. The baby was then auctioned off to wealthy parents, and today's auction is a Michelangelo clone. Liz appears during the auction and tells Laron that she has the shroud. Sometime later, the group reaches Lucifer Villa. Laron is delighted to see the shroud as she is finally able to clone Jesus while Laura is held in a glass cell with Brenda and two other women. One of them couldn't stop crying, but Laura helped calm her down with a few kind words. She says Laura should help her too, but before she can make any plans for her, a group of her nurses enter her cell to take her vitals. Meanwhile, Michael returns to the cathedral to find other priests checking security records. The men are shocked to find Marconi alive, but Michael offers no explanation and asks about the guardian of the shroud. The priests attributed dementia to Cardinal Vincini, who was in charge of his bodyguard but became emotionally unstable and started talking about magical beasts and secret cults. Unbelievable that the priests don't believe the Bible itself, Michael learns that Vincini is now a recluse living alone in a mental institution and wants to know where he is. Michael then captures CCTV footage, shows her passport, asks about Laura, and demands that the priests promise not to tell anyone that they saw Laura. Michael then borrows the jacket and drives off in Marconi's car. He takes medicine he finds in his glove compartment to ease the pain caused by his abilities. Meanwhile, a crow follows him without noticing him. As the Manor's scientists work hard to extract Jesus' DNA from the shroud, Michael arrives at an asylum where he finds an armed and terrified Vincini. However, as soon as Vincini touches Michael, he realizes that he is more than just a priest and readily believes when he says he is an angel. Vincini knows about Liz, and he shows Michael the mansion they built around the Hell Pit, explaining that this asylum facility was built as a surveillance point. Scriptures tell us that Lucifer will one day return, and that requires two ancient beasts drawn from both worlds. One is female, apparently meant to be Liz, and the other is the beast of the earth. For years Lucifer's followers brought children to possess him, but these human bodies weren't strong enough to hold him. That's why they stole the shroud. They planned to clone Jesus. Because Lucifer is the only one strong enough to take over. Michael got fed up with the story and promised to stop them, so Vincini drove Michael to the foot of Mount Villa. With Michael in place, his sword reacts and Lucifer pulls on his chains to finally break free from the seal. At the mansion, the women chat about their private lives and attempt to break the chains, during which it is revealed that Laura has lost her husband and child. Laurent ran some tests and found Laura to be 100% compatible with her. Liz orders him to hasten the process. The nurses then return to their cells to capture the girls, but the women try to protect themselves with chains. Unfortunately, more nurses arrive and quickly overwhelm them, taking Brenda and Laura to the operating room. There, the doctors implant an egg fertilized with Jesus' DNA into the girl's womb, but Liz appears and introduces herself as an angel of the Lord. She tells Laura that she saw Lucifer's sketch at the cathedral at the time and she inspired him so much that she knows she is the right person. Meanwhile, Vincent leaves Michael at the entrance of a secret cave that leads him to his mansion. Before leaving, Vincent notices a crow that has followed them and shoots it before handing Michael a gun, who immediately caves. Shortly after, Laura and Brenda were dressed as brides, taken to a gathering of Luciferians, and chained to a pole. There the beasts of the earth come to pick them up and put them in a huge birdcage which is suspended in a well guarding the pit of hell. Suddenly, a horde of demons appear around the cage and restrain the women. Lucifer, on the other hand, can enter Brenda through her mouth simply by transforming her own body into her own essence. Brenda fights the demon for a few seconds, but she eventually can't stand it and dies. Lucifer then leaves her body and enters Laura's body in her place, and Laura survives her possession without any problems. Laura then walks outside in a dazed state, and Liz presents her as the chosen one and takes her to a new glass cell with a bed and vital sign monitors. When she asks Laura what's inside her, Liz replies that she's a better yes. Returning to Michael, he eventually found a door in a cave tunnel and shot it open to enter the mansion. A guard quickly notices him and is shot in the shoulder when Michael fails to use his gun. He stunned the guard with a few punches and fought back by stealing his uniform and passport unnoticed. After accessing the lab and retrieving the shroud, Michael checks the security cameras to pinpoint Laura's whereabouts. At that moment, Laurent enters the lab, but Michael immediately knocks him down on a table and demands an answer. Laurent's only answer is that he intends to make a fresh start. Michael decides to open the gas canister and light a torch to blow up the entire lab and set fire to the incoming security guard. Fire alarms go off throughout the building and Laura begs her nurse to let her out, but the man won't let her out. After Michael suddenly arrives and stuns the nurse, Laura hugs him, thinking Marconi is alive after all. However, Michael becomes distracted when Lucifer starts talking to him telepathically and teasing him about his freedom. Michael is enraged, unable to understand how his seal was broken, and Laura believes she is one of the enemies. Her frightened Laura runs away, but Michael gives chase and drags her to her room before her security guards find her. Laura steals her gun and fires at him, but Michael convinces him that he's on his side while tending to his gunshot wounds. Laura then explains what they did to her and Michael decides to drag her out to protect her. Liz sees them leaving and lets her goons go after her, but she nearly shoots and kills one of the guards because she doesn't want to harm Laura. Michael and Laura try to escape through a cave tunnel, but the baby is growing too fast and Laura is starting to feel uncomfortable. Their slowness gives the beast time to catch up, and they begin a fight with Michael, who initially puts up well, but soon his human body begins to decay again and the beast defeats him. Liz arrives with her minions to bring back Laura, who threatens to hurt the baby if she hurts the priest. However, Liz reminds her that the priest is already dead and all she has to do is kill the angel. Laura is taken back to her cell and tied to a bed, while Michael is chained to a room with a fountain. He uses his powers to break his chains and free himself, but this leaves him very weak. After dragging his body through the ground, he reached a well, opened it and jumped in just before the beast seized him. When Michael falls into hell he is attacked by demons, but he quickly exorcised them. He examined the stone and was shocked to find that his sword was not there. More demons arrive and use Lucifer's sword to imprison Michael just as they did to Lucifer years ago. Meanwhile, the baby inside Laura continues to grow at a supernatural rate. Liz tells Laura that she will replace the baby she lost, but Laura refuses to give it the same name. During her ultrasound scan, Laura was observing the baby on her screen when she was shocked to see her baby suddenly crawl out and scream at her. But at that moment she woke up and realized it was just a dream. Next to her is Liz, who wants to know if Lucifer is talking to her. When Laura doesn't answer, Liz proceeds to recount how Lucifer fought the tyrant called God, but when Laura says he doesn't care, Liz slaps her in the face. She promises that Liz will release Laura after she gives birth, but for now she demands her respect. A short time later, a group of children spotted Michael on a rock. These turned out to be unsuccessful victims who cooperated to survive in hell. Michael promises to bring the sword home if he finds it, but Lucifer is also an angel, so the children aren't sure if they can trust the angel. Unfortunately, the demons interrupted the conversation and the children escaped, but some of them were captured, leaving Michael to watch in frustration. Back in her cell, Lucifer's essence temporarily leaves Laura's womb and enters her mind through her ears, making her an offer she can't refuse. If Laura accepts him into her life, Lucifer will help kill the man who murdered her family and Liz. Someone Laura hates. Accepting her contract, Laura lies in bed, dreaming of Lucifer accepting to take the baby, holding and bonding with her baby. Liz sees all this and she begins to worry that Laura is getting too strong. Later, while her nurse performs some tests, Laura uses her new powers to turn off her lights and kill her nurse. She then left the room and encountered another orderly soldier, who quickly beat and kicked him until he died. Suddenly Laura is freed from Lucifer's dark control and she is horrified for what she has just done. She resolves to kill her baby before her condition worsens. This causes Lucifer to beg her not to while calling her mom. Laura ignores Lucifer's voice over her and flees into her janitor's closet as her guards begin chasing her. After locking her door, Laura grabs her chlorine bottle and battles Lucifer's control to drink it. When Laura starts throwing up and shaking in pain, Liz kicks the door and yells at Laura about what she did to the baby. As she is about to leave her house to see her doctor, Laura suddenly uses her powers to close the door and push her Liz to the ground, causing her to vomit in her face. It turns out that Lucifer is now in control of her body, punishing her for Liz's mistake. She wishes Liz had her baby, but Lucifer ignores her pleas and gives her new orders. After giving birth, everyone has to die because no one can know what happened here. He also worries that there is a bond between Laura and her baby and that she too will have to be killed after her birth. Laron arrives there and Lucifer punches Laron, who demands to be saved from chlorine. Soon, Laura's body is placed in a healing pod. Lucifer's essence temporarily leaves her body and she takes over the devil in hell to talk to Michael and mock his failures. This is taken by the Shadow Children as proof that Michael is a good man. After Lucifer is gone, Michael finally understands why God allows this and the children come to his aid. They are not strong enough to take the demon sword out of its chains, so they go in search of Michael's own sword. They find it in the rubble, but before they can give it to Michael, a horde of demons appear and give freedom to the children as well. The children hesitate for a moment, then remember what they heard and hand Michael the sword. Michael briefly reverts to his original form and kills the demon. After promising the children that he will return soon, Michael returns to Earth in Marconi's body to retrieve the shroud before returning to the main building. He beats her guards and steals her gun before he can check on Laura, but Lucifer's voice answers her. Desperate to help, Michael pushes the pod and begins carrying it to another room where a nurse watches. After locking the door, Michael opens the pod and tries to explain that the baby is not what Laura thinks, but Lucifer pushes the baby away with a powerful roar. Lucifer then directs Laura's body over Michael, telling her that her water has burst before throwing her liquid at the angel, burning her body. Michael tries to escape, but Lucifer grabs Michael and holds him over Laura's lap begging for her worship. When Michael refuses, Lucifer stabs Laura's finger in Michael's throat, but Michael doesn't give up and delivers his conclusion. God allows this, because once Lucifer enters the sacred body of Jesus, Jesus keeps him under control and sealed away forever. Upon hearing this, Lucifer becomes enraged and throws a tantrum, causing Michael to pass out. When Liz arrives with the guards, Lucifer asks them to kill the baby, but Liz again assumes it's Laura and has the guards take her to the altar. At Hell's Well, Laura gives birth to a baby, whom Liz immediately takes. Laura is left alone in the fountain as the beast opens her lid and drops Laura to join the others outside her. Liz introduces Lucifer's followers to a new Messiah, telling them to be baptized with blood instead of water. The beast then kills all followers, doctors, and protectors. Laron is shocked, but he is happy to be saved, but after being allowed to kiss the baby's head, the beast kills him too. Meanwhile, Michael wakes up, breaks the window with his gun and escapes from the room. He enters the well room to find Laura hanging from her end, so together he helps her before pursuing her enemies. Liz takes her baby and tries to get out of her car, but Laura jumps on Liz and hits her, then grabs her child. Liz pleads with Lucifer that nothing bad will happen to her, but Michael explains that her baby is not Lucifer. God, not the devil, chose Laura, and Laura created what would become Lucifer's eternal prison. Laura gets in her car and goes looking for Vincent, but Michael remains in the fight as the gates of hell are open and the demons are trying to escape. Michael rushes to the well and seals it, but the beast finds it and throws it out, opening the well again. Before the beast can do so, Michael discovers an explosive charge left by Liz to dispose of the evidence, causing an explosion that destroys the facility and covers the pit under all the rubble. Sometime later, Vincent takes Laura and her baby to the cathedral, where they return the shroud while Michael returns to hell to free all the children as promised. Years later, Laura is living in exile with Vincent to protect her thriving child. One day, Liz sneaked into the woods to watch over her family and tried to call Lucifer, but when the demon tried to escape, the child simply absorbed him into his own body and sealed him away.